Hello, welcome back to another episode. Here is the real meaning or meanings of the term Udun, which is more than just a fiery battle cry in The Lord of the Rings of Power. The episode titles for Amazon's The Rings of Power aren't always vague. Adrift refers to Galadriel being lost at sea, Adar refers to Joseph Mawle's Adar appearing, etc. The more symbolic Udun, which is drawn from the orc's ominous cry during the explosive closing scene, is chosen for The Rings of Power Episode 6. In the Sindarin language of the elves, Udun means hell, which is an apt meaning given the immense heat, flame, and gas that currently envelop the Southlands. Chanting hell alludes to the kind of hostile, blackened world that Adar's orcs are attempting to create. It is apparent that they had some notion of how the black sword hilt would deface the middle landscape. Earths. The meaning of Udun's Mordor and Morgoth connections. The title Udun for The Rings of Power Episode 6 refers to more than simply hell. It also refers to the location of Mordor and the metamorphosis brought on when Waldreg twists the black sword. During the Third Age of The Lord of the Rings, when Mordor is at its most oppressive, a huge, nearly circular valley stamped into the earth dominates the northwestern corner of Mordor. It is unclear whether Udun already exists in the Rings of Power or whether the valley was actually created as a result of the Southlands' violent transformation into Mordor and the activation of Mount Doom, because Turarad and Ostirith are both located further south. In any event, the Rings of Power suggests that the name of the gulf may have come from the orcs who were present when Mordor was created. Consequently, Udun alludes to Sauron's future in Middle-earth, but a secondary interpretation also refers to the past. The northern fortress of Utumno, also known as Udun, served as Morgoth's main base in Middle-earth for a very long time prior to the Rings of Power. In the Rings of Power Episode 6, the truth about how elves like Adar were captured against their will and turned into the first generation of orcs is revealed. Thus, both the orcs' new home in Mordor and their place of origin are alluded to in the title Udun. What will happen to the Southlands in the Rings of Power? In the final scene of the Rings of Power Episode 6, huge black smoke plumes envelop the Southlands as water erupts from the ground and fire falls from the sky. The Southlanders will need to relocate regardless of what happens to the area in the future, maybe moving west or north toward the future kingdoms of Gondor and Rohan. The orcs will then be left to live in the new land of Mordor, but who will be in charge of them? Adar and Morgoth, Sauron are clearly distinguished as evil rulers in the Rings of Power. For the former, orcs are relatives who, like elves, dwarves, and humans, deserve a home. The last two view orcs as pawns to be controlled and managed like troops. Even though Adar seemed to win in the Rings of Power Episode 6, Sauron will show up and take over Mordor in the end. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.